Do you believe in fate or destiny? When it comes to your future, do you have a say in the matter? Can the future be altered with awareness? Is it written in the stars? Are we paying for some crime? Is that all that we are good for? Just a stretch of mortal time? I love Aida. Or do you believe the rest is still unwritten? Today, we explore this question, and I invited Lylelana Bernardez, who specializes in holistic life coaching, utilizing astrology, and tapping into the Akashic records. Let's get into it. Welcome to Star Potential, a podcast where we explore the meaning of our existence while having a few laughs and sometimes tears through stories from the road of life. I'm your host, Julie Jo Hughes. As a stage performer, my life is quite literally about song and dance. I believe that life here on Earth is a playground for discovery, not a contest to be won. We ask questions together like, how do I evolve my consciousness? And how do you sing a passionate ballad when there's an old guy in the front row with his balls showing? True story. Stick around for these fun conversations. Lylelana Bernardez is a holistic life coach and astrologer who built a career in New York City's corporate fashion industry before following her passion for spirituality and personal growth. She empowers her clients to gain deeper self-awareness, align with their true nature, and create a fulfilling life they love. Through her work, she blends practical guidance with intuitive wisdom, empowering her clients to navigate life's transitions with clarity and confidence. Please welcome Lylelana. Lylelana, welcome to Star Potential.
Thank you so much, Julie. I'm so excited, and thank you for inviting me. I'm so honored.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. We were just reminiscing. You helped me right before I launched the podcast. I had a session with you. And so we'll get into that a little bit of how you help women find clarity. But I noticed that people often come to you during times of transition
Mhm.
or seeking clarity on maybe they're getting ready to make a change. They don't know what it is yet. But I'm so excited for you to tell us how you draw on these areas like astrology and Akashic records, and we'll dig into all this good stuff. How did you discover that you kind of had a gift for reading the cosmos and a connection to astrology?
Well, I remember when I was 12 years old, when I was in a bookstore, the first time I saw this little booklet that says Cancer, which is my sign, whatever the booklet said, I immediately resonated with it, like loves family, loves animals, loves comfort food. I immediately resonated with it. But then I forgot about it because I was raised in the Philippines, which is a very traditional Catholic family and upbringing. So I forgot about it. And then during the two huge transitions in my life, I don't know what happened, but I seemed to attract astrologers. I had my first official astrology reading at 27 years old. And again, what the astrologer said, that feels right, but I always forget about it. And then the second time that it came to my life, which was before I officially became an astrologer. Again, the astrologer said something that resonated with me. So I always feel that there's something about the cosmos, the universal energy that always speaks to me. That started
Mm.
back when I was 12 years old in a full circle moment.
Wow. It's so interesting that it seems like you drew the astrology to yourself when you were in times of transition. And then, like you said, it makes sense that it's kind of full circle now that that's kind of your specialty is what you really help women with is when they're needing clarity and in times of transition, that's what you're helping them with. So that's really cool. And then a big question that I feel like a lot of my listeners might have is what the heck are the Akashic records? Could you
Yes,
give
I
us
always
like,
get.
I'm sure you're used to answering that question.
Yes, because astrology is more palatable and it's more in pop culture, but Akashic Records is Consider it like a metaphysical Google library. Well, we all can access Akashic records actually by just tuning into the deepest parts of our soul. But if you wanted to go to a professional, which I'm trained for, you can really access it more deeper. It's actually what the cosmos and the Akashic records, which is the metaphysical library that includes your past, your present, and possibly the future. And you know what? The Akashic Records changes as we take action, especially the present and the future, but the past,
Oh,
you cannot change the past, but
right.
the present and the future, the Akashic Records will change it, especially if, of course, once you know what's happening, okay, now I can take action, then of course the Akashic Records will reshuffle, which I find usually in clients happen, and also to me.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So, have you had experiences where either for you or a client, you're saying like you got kind of one reading from the Akashic
Mhm.
records and then at a later time that had shifted then?
Yes,
Can
because
you
for
give us some
example,
exam? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
my client was asking for a guy that she wanted to date. And then I saw that that is a possibility with that person, but then I told her to do the inner work. So she changed herself. She did the inner work and she doesn't like the guy anymore. So it totally changed. And that's,
Wow.
yeah, that's totally possible because this is where free will
Yeah.
comes in, we can change our future. And I think Akashic Records would be beneficial if you want to see the possibilities of the future. Because I can't say that I can see the future, this is gonna happen. I'm not
Hmm.
Nostradamus. I'm saying that for sure.
Yeah.
But I see the Akashic Records can see the possibilities, and from there, we can change our actions. Definitely. This is where free will comes in. This is where we can do the inner work. And like, you know what? I don't want
Right.
that. So I'm going to change it so we can change the possibility of an outcome.
Right. Wow. Okay, I had never really thought about the Akashic records being almost like astrology on steroids.
Yeah.
It's like because astrology is also, right? Like these are kind of what you're predestined towards. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to happen. It's just that we can use that as a tool to inform ourselves of what our strengths and weaknesses are, what we tend toward, where we are likely to find success, things like this. It's kind of like if I have zero athletic ability, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to set out to be a professional baseball player. It's not that it can't happen, but like it would if I have a super passion for it. But at the same time, it might behoove me more to go towards something that I naturally have passion and talent for, right?
Definitely. Yes. And I love that you said that you are not predestined
Hmm.
something. Talk about that because in astrology too, I never said to my clients that this is their final destination. Because once you have awareness, oh, what can I do about it? This is where our mental faculties and our passion, our strengths
Yes.
come in because we're co-creating with the universe. It's not like, oh, this is your chart, that's it, you're done, you're doomed. Because there
Right.
is an astrologer who told me that my chart is not that good. If I really put that to heart, then what am I gonna do?
Right.
So co-creating with the universe of what I have because it's not predestined. I mean, it can give you clues, lots of clues, and you can
Yes.
work with it. You can co-create with it. I think that's why these tools, like Akashic Records and astrology, is given to us so we can change our life.
Oh, I love that. That's what turns it from something that's like woo and we don't really understand into something that's very empowering
Yeah.
because it's just another tool in the box of I feel for a lot of us that are on this spiritual path of I'm trying to get to know myself, I'm remembering who I am, I'm remembering what I came here for and what is my purpose and what are my intentions. I'm remembering all of that rather than setting it, right? And so the astrology is just one more tool that empowers us to have more knowledge about ourselves. And then it's still always up to us what we're going to do with that information.
Absolutely. And I also remember I have a client, she told me another astrologer told her that she's going to have a very hard life.
Oh, wow.
And this is why, okay, I told her, hell no. And then I look at the aspects of it. Okay, how can we reframe that? How can we change this? Because
Mhm.
there's always a way, there's always an antidote, there's always a remedy. Nothing is
Right.
black and white, especially when we're talking about spirituality, the things that we cannot see.
Right.
That is where endless possibilities can begin because we don't know. Who knows? Right? The best things, the greatest things happen in the unknown. I mean, I don't see Jupiter every day, but I know it's there. It's giving me expansion if we're gonna go deeper in astrology.
Yes. Oh, and I love reading your newsletter that you send out because it is I can't keep up with what is happening with all these planets. Like, and it's the eclipse and who knows, there's all these things going on and you so wonderfully just kind of put it together to saying this is what's happening, this is how it might affect you, and here's how you can help yourself with this information. And I love that. It's just like, oh yeah, it's practical. And so bringing it back to how you use this for holistic life coaching now. So we're not just saying this is what I see and that's your fate, right? Like you're looking at all these pieces and then you're saying, "Okay, here's what I can see for you with my trained eye of what's in the cosmos and what's kind of natural for you." Now, you can kind of use your intuition, right, to go on with the life coaching piece and tell us a little bit how did you come to discover that you kind of had a knack for that?
So I started when I quit my corporate job, I started with health coaching because I had my own health
Okay.
issues. So, and
Oh,
when I was young, for some reason, I love teaching people, even sharing tips with my friends. So after that, I said probably guidance counseling would be,
uh-huh.
that's what we called back home, is the path for me. So I started with health coaching, but then I wanted it to go deeper because Scorpio rising, I mean, I want to know rather than just gluten free and cleaning up your fridge. And then I said, okay, this is not it. Then I became a life coach. And that's where
Okay.
I understand that, it's important to coach people and not really tell them what to do, but to guide them and empower them with their next steps. Because sometimes we need people around us that we can soundboard. And also, when you're working with a
Mhm.
coach, it's very neutral. There's no agenda. Like,
Yes.
I just want to help you. I
Mhm.
have no agenda with you. Like, whatever the outcome is, I want the best for you rather than, of course, friends and people want to have the best for you, like they have good intentions, but when you're working with a life coach, it's very neutral. And
Mhm.
then when I added astrology with life coaching, because sometimes I cannot understand my clients when I was in life coaching, and it's hard to understand their personalities. But when I added astrology, which was not the plan, I was studying astrology for myself. I said, what if
Wow.
I add astrology here? Because I was gaining so much for myself. And it started with an experiment and it
Uh-huh.
made sense that the patterns, the blocks that I see in the chart, it just made sense. And for me as a coach back then, it was so
Yes.
much easier to understand and talk about and ask the right questions. And they said, yeah, how do you know? And
Yes.
where the portal opened.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that makes so much sense. Yes, if you can kind of understand where they're coming from, what are their natural pitfalls, if you can understand their personality on a deeper level, it's just so much
Uh,
easier for you to read between the lines of what's happening with their health
yes.
and
Yeah,
their
yeah,
life.
definitely. Yes. This is where the holistic life coaching came in. Like, I believe in mind, body, soul, and the cosmos, because everything
Yes.
is related. And actually, the parts of the body is also, there's a correlation with that astrologically. So, for me, I wanted to work with a person and empower them, mind, body, and soul, because that's what I want for myself too. I will never tell my
Yeah.
clients to do something that I would not do. I
Yes.
believe in everything is connected. We're all connected. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, Lylana, where I'd like to go next, and I'm really into stories like this, is back us up a little bit. When you're in New York City pursuing corporate fashion, like, I want to hear the story of what was the lead up to, like, I'm on this path and I'm trucking and I'm going along doing this to, like, this is not what I want to do. I'm going to do something completely different. Can you just walk us through like what was going on with you at that time? Was there were you starting to question like the meaning of everything, or was it just like tell us a little bit about how you came to that?
Yeah, so after working in fashion for 10 years, which was my dream job, that I worked my ass off,
Was that
like
what brought you from the Philippines to New York?
actually kinda. I didn't know what I wanted when I came here when I was 20, but
Uh-huh.
that was the natural inclinations because when I was a child, I loved fashion. You always have to ask, what do you love to do when you were a kid? And oh my God, that made sense. I love fashion. I love creativity and self-expression. So I,
Yes.
I, I just studied fashion and I said, this is it. This is it until the end of my life. My goal is to climb the corporate ladder and have an office, glass office overlooking Hudson River. But then
Uh-huh.
after 10 years, I mean, it was fun and I'm grateful for that experience. That's why I'm so practical right now because I'm pulling in my corporate background. Okay, that has to make sense.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's all gonna be floating in the ethers, which I love, but also it has to make sense.
Yes.
But after 10 years of working corporate, I just realized what I saw in the fashion industry is just the turnover of the garments was so fast, and for me, it's not sustainable. And I asked myself, is this really what I want? I'm not saving lives. I'm not helping people. Although I know I'm helping women feel good, right? But I also felt in my heart that that is just a temporary fix. That
Mm.
external.
Hmm.
We all want to look good. That's amazing. You have to look good, but what's really happening? I was already feeling that there's something more, but I
Mm.
don't know what. I didn't say I want to become an astrologer or life coach,
Uh-huh.
but I know that there's something more to me than this. And actually, the universe. And I was thinking, oh my God, should I do this? I was getting paid well, and I was working in a good company in New York City. Why would I leave? My friends were like, why would you leave? You're crazy. But then the universe really kicked my ass off and said, you know what? You have to leave because I was gunning for a promotion and I didn't get it. That was the
Ah,
universe telling me
okay. Yeah. Which was
that,
actually a beautiful blessing.
which is a beautiful blessing because my next position was actually my boss.
Oh,
And the boss
wow.
cannot be promoted because the director cannot be promoted. So I saw it with my logical mind, okay, this doesn't make sense. And my intuition was saying, okay, there's no room for you for improvement here. And then you're not feeling the juice anymore. The love that I had for the industry is not there anymore. And for me as a person who always believes in passion and love of what you do, if it's not there, why would you do it? If
Right.
it's not there. So yeah, I just saw this quote from Steve Jobs. If you wake up and you don't love what you're doing anymore, you're not meant to do that. Something like that. A quote from Steve
Uh-huh.
Jobs. Steve Jobs also was the catalyst for me.
I love that. Wow. Okay. Okay. And so then was it like overnight or was it a gradual
No,
thing?
no,
Like,
no, no, no. I planned it for 6 months, definitely,
uh-huh.
because I always, finances is number one. Of course, when you
Okay.
want to quit your job, you want to check that your
Yes.
finances are good, like you're good. But I don't have a backup plan. People say, you have to have a job before you get another job. But for me, I'm like, I think I'm done with corporate, but I
Uh-huh.
have savings. So I made sure I
Uh-huh.
have my savings.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just quit. That's it, done. And I'm glad I did. And I'm glad the universe gave me that nudge because if I stayed there, I probably wouldn't discover and explore what the world has to offer, these
Hmm.
ancient practices. Because I wasn't into astrology at that time, even I was in corporate, because I was so busy. I mean, when you're in New York, you don't think of anything else. All you think
Exactly.
about is working. We don't have time for
Yes.
personal development. Although I was doing yoga, I was already into spirituality because I had a depression that time, which is a different story,
Mm.
but which
No,
brought
that sounds related.
yeah, 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 but not astrology, but your focus, it was not to get to know myself. There was no space for that
Okay.
in
Yeah.
my past life, which is okay because that was my past at that time.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because I was in New York too. But
I didn't know that.
oh yeah, for 7 years. Yeah. Both my babies were born there. And then when my daughter was 8 months old, we moved to California. So, okay, when did you start implementing because California, this is a great breeding ground for yoga, meditation, spirituality. I mean, for one thing, I feel like we're just so much more connected to nature here, right? You're just
Yes.
outside. You're outside a lot in the elements in New York too, but you're usually cursing them. Like, ah, it's so like right. It's not necessarily like you're not like, oh, this glorious sunshine. There's like 2 days that you feel like that.
Yeah,
But here it's like every day is so glorious that I just felt when we moved here, like people here are just in a different vibe. It's like you said, when you're kind of in the bubble of New York, you're in a different, it's a different like tempo,
it is
right?
a different tempo.
Yeah. And you're right. It is hard to kind of break out of that rhythm and go, what do I really want here? S-
Mhm.
So that was one thing. So I'm curious, did you move to California first and then you started doing that stuff, or like so you knew you were gonna leave the stuff in New York, and then what happened? When did you come to California?
So right before COVID, but I actually owe my spiritual discovery. I had a lot of spiritual awakening in New York City, but not as deep as California because like what you said, it's a different level of spirituality here. I mean, I discovered yoga there, which led me to crystals, metaphysical studies, and also
Hmm.
herbs. And listening to I was hearing herbs in New York. That's where my intuition started to
Mm.
come. But after I quit my corporate job, I did my mini Eat, Pray, Love version.
Uh-huh.
I went back home to the Philippines and really questioned myself, what do I really want in the next level of my life? And then I came back to New York again, trying to feel it out because I love New York City, because I love the
Yeah.
creativity. It's very inspirational
Yes.
and we get shit done and
Mm-hmm.
there's
We
music,
do.
there's arts, and there's a lot of things to do and you discover a lot of things. And
Hmm.
sometimes I love this, upbeat energy.
Yes.
But then my heart just knows that it's time New York serve its purpose. It's time to move to
Hmm.
California because my family is also here. And thank God the universe saved me because it was right before COVID.
Wow, look at that.
Right before COVID.
Okay, we're kind of on similar timeline there. Yeah, so I also love the pulse of New York. It's just the second that I got off the plane and I knew I was going to be living there, I was like, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. It matched my vibe at that time.
That time. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And you're right that it does. I actually think when I left, I was still matching that vibe. And I wasn't quite matching the Cali vibe yet, but my husband was. And we just had this conversation the other day. He said, now when I think about like the pace of New York, like I'm so glad I did that, but I wouldn't want to do it now. And I said, yeah. So the age that I am now, that's the age that you were when we came here. And I said, now I'm starting to feel like, oh, I really like this pace and this pulse here. But when I was
Yes.
35, like I was still craving that New York City pulse, you know? So it is interesting how you do have to kind of listen in to there are certain places I think that are right for you at that time, and
That
it's
time.
okay. Yeah, when it's time to move on. And it doesn't mean you weren't supposed to be there. It just means like you said, maybe that was where you were for that time and now you're actually meant to be somewhere else.
And I also believe that speaking of places, like it prepares us. Like
Hmm.
if you live in New York, you definitely have resiliency in you. Just like riding the
Totally.
subway and bus alone, like that alone, like will
Hmm.
teach you to hustle. So it's good, I think, for us because we know how to hustle and we know how to flow in California. So just
Exactly.
we're bouncing into these two worlds, which I think is beautiful because, but not as
Mhm.
much hustle. We don't want to go there because we've been there, so we avoid
Yes.
that burned out energy.
Yes. Like Alicia says, if I can make it here, I can make it
Oh
anywhere.
my
That's what
God,
they
she's singing! I
say.
love it. Yes, exactly, and that too. A good reminder.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
true. So that's interesting. We were here just a little bit before COVID here. A little more than a year before COVID, but
Okay.
same thing. A lot of our friends left New York during COVID because it was just like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, like it's so hard to be here at that time. Okay, so I loved this quote that I saw on your website. You said, "I make the mystical practical." So, what are some of your favorite parts about what you get to do with helping? So, first of all, people can have a 90-minute blueprint session with you. That's what I did, where you really like the Akashic records come out and you read my birth chart, which I'd never had done before, and that was so exciting. And then we kind of like set a plan, right? For like this is where you're headed. And then you also do a 90-day coaching. Is that right? So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what that is like.
So the 90 day is like the intro, to your birth chart. And what
Mhm.
I love what you said, like that Akashic comes through, comes alive. I love
Yeah.
that. And of course, when we look at your strengths, unique gifts, and possible challenges, n- there I can say a lot of things about the astrology chart. There's a lot because there's also transits, like what's happening planetary, and how can it affect you, like right now. So I go into the 90 day just to continue because of course there's some blocks,
Mhm.
like, okay, that comes up. So in the 90 day, I guide, my clients on really how to fortify and how can you apply what we have talked about from the 90-minute session and make
Mm.
practical action plan in that 3 months. And like so you can understand what's happening in the planet right now and how can you maximize instead
Mhm.
of, oh my God, Mercury is in retrograde, Pluto is in retrograde. Oh my God, what's happening? Now you are aware, you can actively participate in your life. You can actually
Mhm.
make use because you know where it's hitting in your chart and how can you make the most of it. This is what I love about it because as much as I'm woo, I'm also practical. Like I love giving action plan, of course, that resonates with you too, and how can we
Yes.
co-create together, how can this be fun and actionable so you can actually make your birth chart come alive. It's not just this, oh, I'm a Scorpio, I'm a Cancer, I'm
Right.
water sign, I'm emotional. No, how can you leverage that to your advantage, especially with what's happening right now?
Okay, I love that. That's what kind of brings the Akashic records and your astrology into real time.
Yes.
In this moment, how can we apply that to your current challenges or your current passions, right? Okay, so I love that. So the 90-day kind of allows you to do a little bit more of the life coaching actually.
Yes.
And so not just kind of a one time like here you go little bird, good luck with
Yeah.
that, but now I can kind of guide you as you start implementing these things. And
Yes.
it reminds me too when you're talking about like the transits with the planets and things. I mean, it's really not a lot different, or we could say we could draw correlation from as women when we're going through our cycle, like by being equipped with that knowledge, you can kind of plan things like, oh, you know what, this is when I'm going to be feeling like a badass. Like this is probably when I should implement these things. This week, I'm going to be feeling a little bit more like reclusive and so I feel like we all kind of do that each month anyway. And so now again we're just kind of zooming out and using more tools on a larger scale of how we're being affected by all these things and using it to our advantage really.
Yes, and just knowing your mood. I'm actually gonna have a workshop with this with a perimenopause coach because it's so connected. Also
Oh,
knowing your moon sign, your cycle. Like imagine the cycle of the moon. The moon changes sign every 2 days. So,
wow.
and we as women were connected to the moon. So can you imagine it's from a water sign to fire sign and an air sign. Knowing that gives you more compassion to yourself. Like, okay, I'm not going crazy. I'm just in rhythm with nature. So I'll flow with it and against it and accept it. And rather than, oh my God, I don't like what's going on today. I don't like my period. Since we're talking about cycle,
Yeah.
you know that there is an out external force, which is the moon, planetary cosmos, that it's happening. It's so liberating because you know it's not you. It's not you, girl.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
you and then the planets and the moon. Don't blame the planets because you're not gonna get anywhere to blame the planets, which is okay. this is life. So just go with
Right.
it. Just flow with it. It's okay. It's
Right. And
okay.
to bring it back to a spirituality principle, I think that once we're equipped with that knowledge, we can
Mhm.
be an acceptance of what is. You
Yeah.
know, it's
What
about
is?
not swimming against the current. It's about understanding this is where the flow and the tide is right now. So now that I know that, I can be in acceptance of that and work with it, not against
With
it.
it. Yes. And so funny, your
Mhm.
background is the ocean. Yeah,
I
it's just
know.
like that. Sometimes, the waves are crazy. Sometimes it's so calm. And as
Right.
women, oh my God, we're not
Yes.
like linear, like stable. Our
Right.
emotions are like waves. And the planetary is like that too. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So how can you work with it? How can you actually co-create with it? Because there is the low road of it, and there's also the high road with it. Not being optimistic. It's
Hmm.
just there's always two sides of things.
Hmm. Hmm.
How can you work with the side that is most advantage to you?
Yes, that makes a lot
Whatever
of
that
sense.
means to you.
Yes. I think it's one of those things that, they always say ignorance is bliss. I think the more that we understand all of these things, you start to have more awareness of it. You're like, oh, wow, I really am different when there's an eclipse or whatever,
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be like, oh, I don't think I even used to notice this stuff before. But would you rather go back to when you didn't know? Like, I really think that most of us who are the kind of people who want to know these things and be able to be empowered to take charge of our life and kind of steer the ship a little bit. It's the more we know and understand, the better. It's just we have more tools in the toolbox, right? And you can
Exactly.
understand what's happening. And yeah, I
I
keep
love
this picture
that.
here.
I
You're the
love
first
that.
person to comment on it. And
I love
I
it.
I love that for those of you that are seeing the video clips of it. For me, it always reminds me that the drop of water in the ocean might only know itself to be a drop of water. It doesn't
Yeah.
realize it's the ocean, you know?
Mm.
And it
Yes,
just
because we're connected. It's
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
And when
It's
the
a
whole
powerful
wave
image.
Yeah, when the whole wave surges like that, it's not just one little droplet of water doing that. It's the ocean is waving and you're just a part of it?
Wow.
So,
Very scorpionic, very
I
powerful
know.
image. You have that. I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling it. It's very
And water
powerful.
sign. Yeah.
And water sign, yes. And I also want to point out, sometimes you don't even need to understand. You just, of course, you're a
Yeah.
Scorpio, you want to understand.
Yeah.
But for some people, like, okay, just knowing it, that's it. Because I have a client who is a nurse. She told me, you know what? Every time it's a full moon, my patients are going like, I don't understand. There's something. And I said, oh, yeah, full moon energy because we are 70%, 80% water. And as you know, the
Right.
tides changes when it's a full moon.
Yes.
It's real, it's legit, it's scientifically proven. So sometimes if you're a Scorpio, you have a strong air and you have a strong fire sign, you probably want to research about it. But
Yeah.
sometimes you don't need to know. It's the mystery of life. It's
Hmm.
nature, and that's the mystery and the beauty of it. Like, yeah, we're so connected. Knowing that gives you empowerment that, okay, the moon's changing phases. Probably that's why I'm like that right now. It's okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then you can let it go too. You don't
Yeah,
have to be in resistance to whatever you're feeling. You just go, okay, this is how I am right now. And that's okay.
which is easier said than done, but sometimes,
Yes.
yeah, I know, like if I'm like, oh my God, shit, this moon, full moon, but
Yes.
just trying your best to just accept what is, like what you said.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I feel like this has been such a fun introduction to what astrology and Akashic records are and holistic life coaching. It's so beautiful how you found a way to weave all of those together and find deeper meaning for yourself. I love that. Before we go into some rapid questions here where I like to just let our listeners get to know you a little bit, is there anything else that you would just like to leave our listeners with as they learn to kind of implement more of these tools?
So based on what we talked about, I feel that the most beautiful thing that you can do for yourself in this lifetime is really understanding yourself, like getting to know yourself, and whether that's through astrology. There's so many tools. There's Enneagram, human design, whatever resonates with you. But I think there's a quote from Plato, the unexamined life is not worth living. And I do believe in that, because when you know yourself, when you understand yourself, you free yourself and you see the possibilities, and you also know how you self-sabotage yourself. It's beautiful when you're so self-aware. I think
Mm,
that's the most beautiful gift you can give to yourself, because the more you understand yourself, you can let other people understand you. And you also understand the people around you. And when you understand the
absolutely.
people around you, you just have more self-compassion for others, and most especially compassion for yourself.
Hmm. I love that. I think that's the most beautiful gift of this work too, is that the more we understand ourselves, we're really able to understand others. So
Yes,
it can seem at first like it's very self-centered, but it's actually in order to be able to be better to others too.
exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, I wish my mom knew my birth chart. She would understand. No, I'm just kidding. But just understanding the people around you, close to you, your friends, it just makes so much difference.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, okay. I have one quick question that popped into my head.
Mhm.
When you meet people, are you immediately like trying to figure out their sign?
I know. I used to do that, but now I'm just like, no, let it go. There it is. But I can't help it, because sometimes when I see some traits that come up, I said, oh yeah, you're a Capricorn, you're analyzing things, kind of like that. It
Yeah,
just comes up naturally, but I try not to, but I can't help it. For me,
yeah,
it's fun, and I don't know, I'm having fun doing it.
yeah. If the shoe fits.
The shoe fits, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, let's go into some fun rapid questions and we'll get to know Lylana a little bit. So we kind of talked about this a little, but as a kid, what did you always want to be when you grew up?
Okay, there's two things. I want to be a doctor. I think
Oh,
everyone
wow.
wanted to be a doctor when we were, yeah, I mean, back in my country, everyone wants to be a doctor. And
Okay.
w- astronaut, which is so cool.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
And now you
That's
are
why
studying the planets.
there's power in the childhood.
Totally. Totally.
Mhm.
Oh,
I
I
love
love
this
that.
question because there's so
Mm,
much power with that question.
that's true. I love that you kept that. Which season of the year makes you feel most alive?
Spring, summer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spring, summer, yeah. It's hot and flowers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. If you had a theme song for every time you made an entrance, what would it be?
There's so many. I love music,
I
but
know you love to sing, right?
I love karaoke, I love music. But when you said entrance, the first thing that came to mind is I love old music. Donna Summer,
Uh-huh.
Bad Girls, because I like the beat.
Bad
Bad
girls.
Girls, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And then there's a whistle. I just love that. I just love that
Yeah.
song.
Beep, beep. Ha. Toot,
Yeah,
toot,
that
beep,
one,
beep,
yes,
beep.
yeah. It's just so much fun. Yeah, I love that.
It sounds like a party for sure.
Yeah, it's a party. Yeah, definitely. When you're gonna do an entrance, might as well make a party.
I love it. Go big or go home, right?
Yes, go big or go home.
That's that Scorpio energy, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, finish this sentence. When I'm 80, I'll be.
Happy, fulfilled in all levels, mind, body, soul.
Mm, I felt that in my heart when you said it. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, Lailana, favorite dessert?
Tres leche cake. It's like three
Oh,
milk cake. Oh my God. Have you tried it?
mhm.
Oh my
I
God.
have.
Bad.
Yes.
It's so good.
Right, bad but so good. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Do you make it or you only get it
No, oh
out?
my God, no.
Uh-huh. I've
Do you
never
make
made it
it?
either.
Okay, me
No,
too. I'm like, no, I'm
no.
not gonna attempt. Yeah.
I do love to bake, but I've never tried that. Maybe I should.
Oh, you should try. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what is a book that you would recommend for everyone to read?
There's so many, but if I were to pick one, The classic is You Can Heal Your Life by Louis Hay.
Yeah,
That's
that is a good classic.
that's a good class. If everyone can read that book. Mm, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I even told you, you sent me to The Big Leap, right? Wasn't that you?
Gay
Uh,
Hendricks.
yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What? And there was another one that you told me about. Anyway, it sent me on a rabbit hole and like I read like 5 of his books and so good.
So good, right? Yeah. The classics. And also Wayne Dyer. Oh my
Yes.
God. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
The
like good
classic.
classic stuff there. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's a great place for people to start if they're just kind of like breaking into more self-knowledge and things like that. Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer, those
We
are really
say.
good places to
Yeah.
start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, I loved getting to know a little bit more about you. I loved getting to know how you got into this work. Tell us if we want to work with you from wherever we are, how can we get in touch with you? How can we can connect with you?
Yeah. So if you're not sure first what you want to do, I offer a free 30-minute clarity call. I think that's what we did, just
Yeah,
to
we did.
like plan what is a good offer for you, and you can either go through a 90-minute session, and that's what I suggest. When I first intro to my world, we look at your birth chart with the Akashic records and we make it come alive and have an action plan. And then if you want to go deeper, like that, oh, bye birdie. You can spread your wings and fly if you really want to spread your wings and fly more and soar higher. I have this 90-day plan where not only we work with your birth charts, blocks, we also work with the current transits and make an action plan for the whole 3 months so you can co-create with astrology, with Akashic records, and most of all, your birth chart. Like really make it come alive.
That's beautiful. Well, Lylana, thank you so much for being here on Star Potential. And I am excited for anyone that might get the chance to work with you. It was so much fun watching my birth chart come alive. And I was just so fired up. After our call, I was like, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. Like it was just I just felt really empowered. I took like 6 pages of notes and it just, I would highly recommend it for anybody who's just, even if, so I was at the point of like pretty much knowing what I wanted to do, but I liked just having the clarity. And then there were some things that you told me that I didn't really realize were in my chart. And it actually pushed me to go bigger than I was planning to go because it was like, yeah, like you were like, yeah, that's it's in your chart to like, again, like go big, like, just if you're going to do it, do it. So thank you for that. I am so in gratitude
You're
of your
welcome. It's
empowerment.
an
Yes.
honor. I can
Mm,
still remember the power of your birth chart, and now it made sense with that photo behind you. It makes so
yeah.
much sense. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well,
Yes.
Lailana, thank you for being here with us today. And
So,
I am, yes, always sending you love. And I love that you keep me informed about all the transits and what's happening.
yes. Thank you so much, Julie.
Thank
Thank you for all
you.
you do. Yes.
Let's go over some of our key takeaways from today's session. 1. Our childhood passions and things that light us up give us clues into where our true passions lie. If you're feeling a bit lost, revisiting yourself as a child can really help give you clues. 2. When we look at what drives a lot of my guests into deeper self-study and spirituality, I see this pattern or common theme of feeling that they have a call to something deeper or more meaningful, myself included. So if you're feeling that pull too, you're in good company. Follow that curiosity. 3. With tools like astrology and the Akashic Records, it's not about someone else reading you your fate or a story set in stone. They are tools for empowerment, meant to give you a peek inside the undeniable interconnectedness of the universe and how you fit into that picture. With this knowledge, you can position yourself accordingly and leverage your intentions. 4. Lylelana says the most beautiful gift you can give to yourself is to know yourself, because the more you understand yourself, you can help others to understand you. You also understand the people around you. You have more self-compassion and compassion for others. To get in touch with Lylelana, you can find her on Instagram. That will be in the show notes at LylelanaBiancaB. And you can also go straight to her website, www.lylanabernardez.com. And these will both be linked in the show notes for you. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time. Thank you for tuning into Star Potential with Julie Jo Hughes. If this episode resonates with you, I invite you to take 2 seconds, scroll down, and click 5 stars on the rating. It's a fast and easy way to help the show gain exposure and momentum. If you're loving the show, I invite you to leave a quick review about what you love. Reviews are like gold to podcasters, and to show my gratitude, you'll be entered to win my monthly giveaway when you send me a screenshot of your review. I also made you a gift. It's a 9-minute, simple gratitude meditation with singing to help you practice mindfulness. Just visit me on Instagram at @TheJulieJo or find the link in the show notes. Thank you for your love and support. Until next time, keep shining your light. And that's a wrap.